Thank you again, everybody, for joining us. Tamika, if you would, start us off with an opening statement, then we'll go to questions.
Yeah, good morning, and thank you guys for joining in. Still up here up in Boston, and last night, obviously, we found out we got the number 2 draft pick. So we're excited about just the opportunity to bring a great player, a great player to our team. One of the things that we know and coaching staff, and we've been meeting for the last couple of months just on the opportunity for next season and who we'll bring to this team. And this is a deep draft, so we know that we'll bring somebody good to our team and continue to rebuild and really looking at the championship culture, the championship caliber team that we are building. And we know we'll get somebody that will add to that. So we're really excited and looking forward to next couple of months. It's going to be one of those things, most teams where you get better in the draft, you get better in free agency, and you get better in trades. And so we're going to be working really, really hard to put together a great team. Last year, we were plagued with some injuries, as every other team in the WNBA was as well. So, something we know we need to do is just we got to get better. We got to get stronger. We're making some changes internally as well, and we'll be ready for next season. So, you guys know I put a lot of pressure on myself and put a lot of pressure on our team and our coaching staff that we will be in the playoffs next year. And so that is what we are building, and that's what every single day I continue to just push that out.
Thank you, Tamika. Questions, Tony, want to start us off?
Yeah, I do. Tamika, what is your good luck charm, and do you need a new one?
A good luck charm, huh? You know what? It's interesting, and I mean, I've said this the last couple of years. You're really not wanting to be in the lottery draft, but we put ourselves in a situation, and one of the things that you look at is we did try something a little bit different. Even though I was out here at Mohegan Sun, Coach Marianne and I were at the game yesterday, but Dr. Barber had the opportunity to fly in and go to the ESPN studio. So I don't know, Tony. I don't know if it's a good luck charm, but we will get somebody good with the number 2 pick. And so, we'll go off of that, and we are excited about that opportunity. I mean, you look at what I guess I should look at it, maybe the pressure is off a little bit and not having to make the first choice, but I know regardless we'll bring a great player to our team.
You mentioned in your opening statement that you thought this is a deep draft class. Can you kind of explain in a little more detail what you think of this group in general, especially as you have 2 of the first 10 picks?
Yeah. I think we can't necessarily use names, but yeah, I feel like there's a great caliber. And, you look at the parity right now within the NCAA women's game. I mean, there's a lot of great players. One of the things that's been really interesting is with the trade portal, with the transfer portal, you're seeing a lot of players that have moved around and having different opportunities on different teams. And, one of the things that we're doing as a coaching staff is really just like we're weeding through every single team and making sure that the players that we have the opportunity to bring to our team. We got 2 picks in the first round. So, excited. We have the number 2 and the number 10 pick this year. And then we have 2 picks in the third round. And I think we know that not just in the first round, you're looking at just the draft, 36 players overall, that there's going to be some really good players that are going to be around even in the third round that we'll be able to grab. So, I think it's not necessarily 1 or 2 individual players. I mean, every single game we watch, there's players that stand out, and then those players you add to the list, and now you're continuing to, focus in on them as well. So that is something, we're looking. I can't really even say for our team, we're looking at one specific place. We have 2 players. We have our own free agents that we have to deal with, and we have to re-sign. And so we'll start with them January 1 and re-signing our own players. And then January 15th, free agency opens up. So that's kind of the first duty for us is making sure that happens. And we bring a couple of really strong free agents to our team. And then as we get to the draft, having the opportunity to bring some players in, first 2 first round picks, definitely bringing them in, and third round picks, bringing them in, and really looking at training camp as being a really solid training camp this season to get us prepared to where we want to go and where we want to stand at the end of the season.
You kind of take me through it. It was like watching the lottery for you. Was there a moment of celebration when you didn't get 3, and then a different emotion right after when it came up to? Who were you with? What was that like?
Yeah, we actually were in between the two women's games last night. So we went up, we were at Mohegan Sun. So Kurt Miller from, or not, yeah, Kurt from Connecticut, their group allowed us to go up to the top to the suite. So it's kind of like a surreal moment because we get up there and there's a lot of like sponsors and partners up there. So, taking pictures, and I'm trying to watch the draft lottery, but it's really cool because even at the arena, they had it on the big screen. So everybody was able to watch it all at once, but we were up at the top, and definitely exciting, not getting the fourth pick, not getting the third pick. And then even with the second pick, when Bethany Donovan pulled our logo up, it's like, okay, you kind of have to put things in perspective of this is a draft that we will get, some solid players to our team, and, we roll with the punches. And that's what I'm choosing to do, stay positive about being able to have the number 2 pick. And, we've talked about it amongst ourselves, what we will get at 1, what we would do at 2, and 3 and 4, but now we can eliminate 3, 4. So that is a praise moment.
That's good. That's good. You guys had 2 first-round picks last year in Kaiser and Aaliyah. Now you got 2 again this year. As a franchise, 4 first-round picks in 2 years. What kind of advantage does that give you going forward?
Well, I think for us, really gives us the advantage of looking at our team. And I think specifically to this year, one thing, we were plagued with a lot of injuries last year, and, coming the last 2 years, really, so coming into this season, we got to look at the picks that we have. We got to look at the players that we have currently, and, even the free agents that we're going after. We have to be stronger in the way that we look at, we have to be smarter, I would say, in the way that we look at our draft picks and in the way that we go approach free agency. And, I think for us, it really is going to be a focus of, we look at the 2 draft picks and where they come in and how they will get implemented into our system. One thing we really want to focus on and we'll do a better job on is player development. We brought on Coach Carlos Knox and back to the Indiana Fever organization, but one of his biggest strengths is the player development side. With NBA, WNBA players, been in the college game for a while, and pretty much every team that he's been around and been with, that area of focus has been something that he's really done a great job with. And so I think as we look at our draft picks, I mean, I've always said this, but even from post players in our league, it takes about 3 to 5 years for them to develop. Guards a little bit less. And so really being able to look at our guards or look at the players that we bring in and really put together a player development plan so that they'll be able to insert, whether they, insert in this year, insert into the plan this year, and us being able to focus on where we want to be and winning and making it to the playoffs. Or if it's something in the next couple of years that we continue to build and we really look at using free agency to get those players that have a little bit more experience.
Thanks, Tony. Pat, anything for Tamika?
Yeah, hi, Tamika. I'm on the road, so hopefully I'm coming through.
Pat.
Hi. You talked a little bit about the 10th pick. I mean, can you just kind of describe the significance of the move you were able to make last year? The 10th pick, I don't want to say for free, but you were able to use the space you had in the cap and then acquire the 10th pick with that. And I guess the value of a trade like that and how you could see that come to fruition in April.
Yeah, thanks, Pat. One of the big things is being able to have 2 first-round picks, and especially with the 10th pick, it gives us an opportunity where we stand. I mean, now knowing that we have the number 2 pick and the number 10 pick, and I keep using free agency because we gotta get players that can come in and that can have an immediate impact. And not to say that some of the draft picks can't, but I think that's where we can really utilize that number 10 pick, whether we sit on it and bring a solid college player in, or we use it in conjunction with a trade, or one of those situations. So I think being able to, the value of making the trade last year and being able to have 2 first-round picks, it just opens up more options for us as we look at this year's team. We look at the need that we have, and I go back to even the players that we want to resign, but even looking at, Julie Alamond on our team and Betty Hattar, 2 overseas players that, we want to bring back. Julie, and then you're looking at their overseas teams that they're playing at currently. And I mean, this is something that we struggle with as a league, but players coming in and when they're going to get to market and, playing on overseas teams, how it affects the makeup of the teams that we're trying to make. So I think the number 10 pick, we were in a good place of being able to either bring a solid college player in, or by the time we get through free agency and we really start looking at our lineup and really start looking at, all right, here are the holes and here are players that we feel like can fit into those holes. We can use that as part of a trade to bring in and to fill those voids.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Pat. Anybody else have anything for Tamika this morning?
I'll go with one more, if you don't mind, Ryan.
Go ahead, Tony.
Tamika, you brought up Carlos earlier, who worked a lot with you. How did that experience help you in your career? And do you see that avenue being similar for other players, like you just mentioned, young players that get drafted into your organization?
Yeah, I think Carlos's experience is what makes him so valuable. And, I talked a little bit just about him being here, starting here, but since he left here, he's been worked with 3 other colleges. So he's kind of been in the player development space and really been able to have an impact on the programs that he's been with. Coming back to Indiana and knowing the system, knowing the organization, knowing the area, what he stands for, obviously being a standout legend here in Indianapolis, I think there's a lot of benefit off the court, but even more importantly on the court from that player development standpoint. One of the things that's interesting as we were looking, and Marianne and I were having the discussion of areas that we need to improve on from a team standpoint. That was one of the biggest areas. I consistently talk about, all right, we got to develop our players. Tierra McCowan from year 1 to Tierra McCowan, this being her 4th year, what has the development been like? What area do we see that she needs to continue to build off of? Jared Simpson, bringing him last year, he did a great job filling in Vicky Hall, her experience, and just once again being another legend here in Indianapolis. I mean, the experience that we have on our staff and the experience of the success that they've had really does play out into our players and allows our players, like, from the respect factor, from getting in the gym, from getting the work done. And I think just bringing in Carlos is kind of like the well-roundedness. That'll be an area that he will focus on. He will lead that with our coaching staff underneath Marianne charge. And I think that our players really will buy in, and it will be a successful juncture of having him with us.